I would like to start with some important thanks. First, special thanks to His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the Vice President and Prime Minister of the United Emirates. It's a very special and ongoing partnership between the World Economic Forum and the UAE. This year, as I also said at the opening, we have celebrated 10 years of this fruitful and successful collaboration. Also, a special thank to His Excellency Mohammad Abdullah Al Gergawi, the Minister of Cabinet Affairs and the future of the UAE. I always dreamed about that kind of title, Minister of the Future, huh? Thank you for your personal and long-term commitment to ensuring the highest quality engagement and collaboration with the World Economic Forum, and also, Minister, for your pivotal role in making not only this summit, but our overall relationship rise to a new level every year. Thank you for your friendship. And also, thank you to the excellent team from the UAE that has been working so hard on this summit, which has been superbly led by Mr. Ashraf Shahab. Thank you. I would also take the liberty to thank my colleagues at the World Economic Forum, Stefan and his team, Lee and his team, Jeremy, Mirek. If I start now mentioning all this, I will be in trouble. So I would say that I would like us all to give the team of the World Economic Forum that has been working 24/7 during the last days, sitting in the council booths, then running to do other stuff. Also, thank you to my colleagues. And with these thanks, I would like to invite His Excellency to the podium to give his closing comments. And we should now take on, for those that are not fluent in Arabic, should take on your headsets. Excellent.
In English this time.
Will you?
Yes.
Wow, I was now instructed with big letters here, capital letters, to remind people on putting on their headset, but even better. Thank you, Minister. Thank you.
Good evening. I know it's been a long 2 days for all of you through different sessions. But let me answer your question, basically, about Minister of the Future. It's a title, and a lot of people have been asking me, what do you do, really? I think we've been learning from our relation with the World Economic Forum. And we've been learning from the Future Council. And whatever we learn, we go back to the government, and we're trying to implement it. My job is really, it's very simple, is to get the nation ready for the future and to get the people of United Arab Emirates ready for the future. It's very simple, but it's very complex also. We know that future trend is changing quite fast. We live in an amazing time. I think no other civilization have seen or lived or experienced whatever we are having here. Maybe the only time was 10,000 years ago when human beings started farming and they domesticated animals. That was a change. Now we have a tremendous change that's taken place. With technology, civilization, humanity is changing. And almost our DNA is changing as a human being with whatever technology that will be introduced. If we look at knowledge, I heard the talk about globalization. There is a political aspect at it, but there is tremendous knowledge-sharing aspect at it. If we look at knowledge that an average person with an iPhone get every day, almost we receive a knowledge of reading 174 newspaper a day. That's tremendous. As a nation, we try to implement the good part of globalization. We are a very globalized country, maybe the most globalized country in the world. If you look at the nationality that we have, if you look at the mix, if you look at the tolerance that we experience every day, but also we teach our future generation to implement. Is always, I said, United Arab Emirates is a good example of globalization in a good way. Definitely other countries have different issues, political, social, economic issue. But whatever we've been doing is listening to people like yourself, to the globe, and we try to implement whatever we do. If we looked at artificial intelligence, it's been in discussion for the past 10 years through the forum. Today, United Arab Emirates have a minister for artificial intelligence. There is always a youth issue and how youth can be embedded in society and in government. Our Minister of Youth, she is, I think, 24 right now, or 23. And when His Highness Sheikh Mohammed announced that we'll have a fresh graduate minister from university, people thought it won't happen. Today we have some of the best experience. It doesn't matter how old are you. It's how much knowledge that you have and how mature you are when it comes to life and experience. The world is changing. That's what I'm saying here. We live in a totally new era when it comes to human civilization. And always I stated this is, when it comes to technology, this is the first second of the first hour of the first day of the first year when it comes to human advancement. We learn, we'll make mistake, we'll go back, we'll learn, but our aim is to balance between a complex future and a balanced life. We are in the business of creating a balanced life for our citizen, our residents, our visitor, and to set up a model. And that's when we stated that we are one of the world's largest lab. We go and we implement it in so many different ways. I'm not in the business of speeches, to be frank. Usually, they write my speech, I come here and I say whatever I feel like saying, and I walk away, and it does work. But are we three things that we plan to do? Usually, every year I come here, I said, this is our plan till next year, till we meet back again. And there's three initiatives that we learn from here. We'll go as a government, we'll implement it within this year. One of it is we'll have future possibility report. It will highlight the most promising emerging idea, an area with possibility of future growth. Second, we'll have future possibility index, which rank possibility by the level of its advancement. And the third thing, we'll have future possibility department, where we'll be in the business of to make possible out of the impossible. Thank you for coming. We enjoy hosting you for the past 2 days. And I'll see you on 3rd and 4th of February. When is it? January? November, sorry. We had the government forum back then. And 3rd and 4th of November 2019. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Minister, and also to the rest of the cabinet, including the Minister for AI, another very challenging job. My job is now really to thank the most important people here, the council members. And I would like to also show that we already have grasped a bit of the intellectual production that have been happening in the different councils. We have council managers, and I have had the chance to talk to some of them, and some of my colleagues have talked to some others. So I, at the closing, tried to say a couple of words what we have grasped already and how we will, from the World Economic Forum side, bring it forward. We will use this also as a preparation for the future. As our panelists have so vividly articulated, to avoid the mistakes of the past, we must shape a new global architecture which serves the world of the future, which spurs innovation by transforming challenges, our fears and insecurities, because they are there, into opportunities for investment and innovation. It is not the easiest task. Maybe it seems like squaring a circle, but we think it's doable. I think over the last 2 days, we have discussed the world's most pressing problems with urgency. We have debated the projects and initiatives that could fill critical gaps and provide the solutions that are needed. We have heard the Council's calls for a new narrative for global environmental governance that joins together the issues which have become too fragmented. And we also have heard the idea of doing plurilateral initiatives, and others will follow suit later. We have heard the Council's calls for a new global architecture that weaves together the need for action on climate change, oceans, biodiversity, into a new deal for nature, as much more central part of the political agenda and economy as a whole. We also have heard the calls from the councils and your concerns over rising social polarization and the need for more local digital platforms and physical spaces where true experiments in civic education and tolerance of differences can happen. As the fourth industrial revolution accelerates, the rate of skills needed increases. We have heard your calls for new social contracts that go beyond social safety nets and target affordable and scalable access to education and mobility for work and workers. Our modern economic toolkit still knows growth as only growth. I think the panel also just showed us that we need new economic models that combine the narratives of wealth creation and wealth distribution. And finally, we need our governing institutions to become agile, informed by real-time data, which can maximize transparency and build legitimacy. Your work is defining the real conceptual framework which the World Economic Forum will approach also our annual meeting through different dialogues in Davos, where our annual meeting theme, as you know, have heard, maybe for the 30th time, but a good thing cannot be repeated too often. Our theme will be Globalization 4.0, shaping a global architecture in the age of the fourth industrial revolution. These global dialogues, ranking from economic cooperation to technology policy, will seek to spark action by policymakers at the highest level to upgrade our global institutions to make them more responsive to rapid changes happening as a product of the fourth industrial revolution. Nevertheless, and though we are grateful for your engagement over the past 2 days, I would say there is more work to be done. Indeed, I would call on you to act as ambassadors to your organizations for the agenda that you contributed to setting during the course of this meeting. I truly believe that we are now at a watershed moment and that the responsibility on our shoulders is a sizable one. We are at crossroads, not only in a multipolar world, not only when it comes to the fourth industrial revolution, but recreating a social contract that can be applicable for all global citizens. We also need bold thinking, the will to collaborate, and responsible leadership. I'm just as confident that our community will deliver on the promise of Globalization 4.0. So with those thoughts, built on important input from my colleagues and based then on some of the findings in the Council's Minister, I officially closed the annual meeting of the Global Future Councils 2018, and the farewell reception immediately follows this outside here. Thank you so much for your contributions and safe travels back.